Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space created weekly is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. This is it. It's race week. This is the first time that I've raced since the beginning of December, since DECA Worlds. And this time I'm stepping completely out of my comfort zone and I'm going into the High Rocks world. Now, I've raced a High Rocks before. I've done one race and it's been a mixed relay. And I had so much fun because, again, it's what I'm good at. Like 6 to 8 minutes of just like blow yourself up and then you're done. And then you get a big rest and then you do that once more. This time I decided that I needed to do a solo race. I needed to stop being a baby and utilize this fitness that I've been building over the last couple of years to become a beast that I am in my own regard. And I needed to do something that was gonna seriously challenge me. And that's ultimately what the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week is. I know I've been shouting out some just other folks that I've been watching from the sidelines just the last couple of weeks. Today I want to acknowledge myself in the moment that I had yesterday, along with the plethora of people that are feeling the same exact way that I'm feeling right now. It sucks to do the hard things, to be uncomfortable. If it was easier for people to step into discomfort, there would be more people doing it, but you don't see everyone doing that. And I've just been so lucky to be in a circle of people that are doing it constantly, so it keeps my feet to the fire in the best way possible. I'll be honest, it's terrifying to think that I might let myself down, but I don't want to choose that narrative. That is only a narrative that I get to write. And so instead, what I'm telling myself is that the only way that I could let myself down is by never stepping into the arena in the first place. I know that I didn't get to where I'm at right now by just wishing. I got to where I'm at right now by leaning into this discomfort and not being afraid to suck at something for a little while. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, it's going to feel like I completely suck at what I'm doing because I'm not at the level that I wish I could be at in the sport, but it's okay. I don't have to be absolutely the best at every single thing that I do. But what I do ask of myself is that I don't shy away from it. And instead, I choose to enjoy it. I choose to enjoy the hurt. I choose to enjoy the suck. But also I choose to enjoy the fact that I get to be out there improving my fitness, executing my fitness, enjoying the love of movement with thousands of other people, with the loud music, with the vibes and the energy and my friends cheering me on the sidelines. If I'm sitting there worried about a time and where I think I should fall and comparing that to other people that, for example, that I compete with in DECA and just thinking oh, well, I should be right around here. Quite honestly, none of that fucking matters. And for anyone else that's listening to it that has time goals, I'm not saying not have them, but don't think about that when it's the time of the freaking race to start. Let's just think about how grateful we are about getting the chance to line up and to do these things, to spend this money, to put in the time, the energy, the effort. It's not every day that people just get to line up in the ways that we do. So let's just be grateful that we get that shot and we get that chance. And I'm going to be grateful for the chance to suck because I know that when I suck at something, guess what happens next? I learn how to not suck at it. So while I might not do the absolute best that I would ideally love to do on Thursday, I am going to build my character. I am going to become a better person. And we all have the opportunity to do that. And who knows? Maybe we line up with zero expectations and just the ability to tap into that joy and we freaking shock ourselves. And I would not be shocked that if we were to do that and show up as that person, that there's a large chance that a lot of us would shock ourselves. So just want to say a big good luck to all of you guys traveling out to Phoenix. If you listen to this podcast and I don't know you and you recognize me, please come say hi. There's nothing better than like getting to hear from all of you. And I can't tell you how many times I've been stopped, and it's made my entire day to just talk to you guys. And also too, I just want to thank everyone for your support. Like, I posted some of these thoughts that I'm feeling today in one of my posts and just on my stories, and the amount of people within like minutes that were like, we're so proud of you, like we're rooting for you, all the things, like the amount of people that are behind me on this, like it's cool. Like, what a community that we've built. So just thank you guys for that. Like, it really does mean the absolute world to me. And I'm excited to be able to support those of you that I can when I'm not running around like with a chicken with my head cut off, you know, to be able to do the same and support you as well. But I'm really excited to jump into the topic of this week. I know it kind of doesn't make a ton of sense considering that we're going into like a big race weekend, but what I love about this is we're going to get out of a race weekend, and all y'all that are listening to this before, or maybe you're just in the middle of a training block, or you're trying to get started in something, I don't know. All the people that are listening to this that maybe do go to High Rocks Phoenix are going to be like, I am so supercharged and ready to freaking like rumble in my training for the next race. Like, my goal is that you listen to this and you take a lot of what I'm going to say incredibly seriously and to heart. And hopefully you learn something, maybe you change something, because there is nothing like, as a coach and as someone who is an athlete in the space that had to learn this stuff the hard way, like, it breaks my heart to see people like literally drilling themselves into the ground. And like, these are good people, like people that should be really good at what they're doing, and they're just not seeing the results that they want to see. And it also, like, quite honestly, like, I hate to be that person, but there are coaches in my area that have not a clue what they're doing, and they're steering people the wrong way. And it like breaks my heart to watch people pay good money and time and energy and effort to not get the coaching that they deserve. So with all that being said, I am excited today to do an episode to educate people on some of the common mistakes that I see that I would say are training no-nos, along with let's talk about what the hell VO2 max is. Because I'll be honest, I think there's plenty of people that have heard of it and know the word and maybe dish it out like candy, but they don't truly know what it means, how to utilize it, how to build it. So we're going to talk about all of that today, okay? So let's just jump into what I would call my training don'ts, some of the common mistakes that I see people making that I wish that they wouldn't. The first thing is chasing the shiny ball over nailing the boring stuff. That basically means that they're too busy trying to discover the next best exercise and how to replicate a certain stimulus, or they do a plethora of different training sessions that don't actually build on each other in any sort of progressive way. A solid training program, you guys, and I hate to say this, but a solid training program is actually incredibly boring. It's boring as shit, which is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, including me as a coach, because I try to make things fun and palatable for a lot. But when programming for myself and for my clients, when I realized that the reason that I started finding myself on top of more podiums and I started seeing more success, it's because I got good at nailing the basics. Like, my approach at that point completely changed. My mindset completely changed. So I spend a lot of time personally as an athlete, and what I do for a lot of my high level athletes is I focus on things that will increase efficiency of movements and practicing things like compound shrink movements, nothing super sexy whatsoever, and just doing that stuff on repeat, working to progress some variable week to week, whether it's one more rep or whether it's a little bit heavier weight or it's more time under tension, right? Like, plenty of different variables that I can kind of shift from week to week, but it's all the same stuff over and over and over again. Boring? Maybe. And at times, probably. But is it effective? Abso-freaking-lutely, which leads me to my next big no-no, which is doing a training session without intention. If you do not know what the intention of the session that you're doing is, why are you doing it? How do you expect to actually move the needle forward if you don't know what you're doing? I can't tell you how many workouts that I've looked at, random workouts, that I've seen programmed by other coaches in the space. And I'm like, what's the point of that? Like, what's the stimulus? What are you actually trying to train for? And what's the adaptation that's attended here? Like, if you walk into a session and let's say that you're paying for a coach and you don't actually know what the intended stimulus is, what the intended adaptation is, like where the focus is supposed to be, ask them. You pay them, please ask them. If you go to a class, ask them. I will tell you, in every class that I teach, I program all of our DECA classes at Pursuit Performance and Training here in Windsor. And I start off with each section, whether it be a strength or plyometrics or even the finisher, right? Or whatever it is that we're doing for the day, I will tell them, this is what the focus is. Here is the goal that I have for you guys. I give them something to focus on and shoot for. So that way, when they do it, they're not just doing it because someone's telling them to. They're able to connect it with a bigger purpose. And I'll tell you one, the ability to enjoy something a lot more goes up because you actually know that you're you're moving the needle closer and closer to that goal that you have. But again, as a coach, you're basically assuring that once that person gets and understands it, that they're gonna see results, right? If they're showing up consistently, doing that in the way that you're asking them to, there's going to be results, right? So please, for the love of God, whether you're programming your own workouts or you're paying someone else to program them for you, please know what you're intentionally doing. And I promise you, that small change alone, if there's anything that you take from this podcast, if you just take that, you will see a difference in how you feel and the results that you are getting, okay? And this will lead me into my last one quite perfectly. The biggest out of biggest training no-nos is back-to-back intensity sessions or not following what we call the 80-20 rule, which is the standard. It takes about 10 to 12 days to see an adaptation from high-intensity workouts that focus on things like anaerobic threshold and VO2 max. And the reason for that, the reason why it takes 10 to 12 days to actually see how you're going to reap the rewards of the work that you've done is because it also takes longer for your body, for your systems to recover them. So if you are doing that on repeat, where it's hard workout and hard workout and hard workout, you are not allowing your body time to take in the adaptations intended. Instead, what you're doing is you're working yourself further into a hole by not giving your body time to recover. It's not to say that you need to wait 10 to 12 days before you do your next hard session, although there are people that do that. Like if you've listened to any of the Whoop podcasts, like on this specifically, they'll talk about things like Norwegian 4x4s, which is one of my favorite ways to train threshold intervals. And they will say, do it every 10 days. And that's all you need. Now that is for the general population. For those of us that are athletes and dependent on your fitness, that's going to look a little different. But I'd recommend doing one a week unless you were in a build phase for a specific race. And in that specific instance, I would do no more than 2 a week to keep yourself from getting injured. But guys, I cannot tell you how important it is to recover. And it's not just about taking rest days and getting good sleep and all those things. It's like quite literally allowing for your training schedule to actually allow for you to rest. So like, for example, if you were to do a high intensity workout and then the next day, maybe you don't rest, but maybe you do something at a lower intensity. You're not necessarily hurting the system by doing that. You're going to hurt the system though if you go high intensity, high intensity, high intensity. Oh, not going to take a rest, high intensity. Like it's the accumulation of doing that back to back to back, which unfortunately I see people do. I hate to say it. I hate to do it. My F45ers, my Orange Theoryers, welcome to what I'm talking about. Okay? Like your body just, it can't do it. And so instead of like actually gaining what you're working towards, guys, you're literally like, you should see this graph. You are working yourself into a hole. It's just like downward sloping. So I'm going to get off my soapbox because, man, it's exhausting. But please, like if you are noticing that in your program, it is a lot of high intensity workouts with no intention whatsoever behind what the workouts are actually doing, please ask questions, not only of yourself, but of the people that are programming for you. Okay? Whew, okay. That's enough of that. Now let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's talk about how to think about VO2 max, like what it actually is. Let's understand it, how to utilize it in your training, and how to build it, because like I said, it could be tricky to understand, and it took me a couple of times to fully understand it. So VO2 max, in the simplest of terms, is how well your body utilizes oxygen during exercise. It is, simply put, oxygen in versus oxygen out. The higher VO2 max that you have, the less oxygen you are expelling back out, right, during your exhalation, because your body is actually using it to help generate ATP, which is your energy, right? The goal has been to increase the VO2 max, right? That's what most people are out there trying to do is, I got to get a bigger VO2 max, right? But why? Do you actually know why you need a larger VO2 max? When you look at elite level athletes that have really high VO2 maxes, what you find is that they are able to work at higher intensities for longer periods of times before they start to hit what's called LT2, which is where your body starts to switch the energy systems it uses to continue to provide you energy. At some point, you will probably build up so much lactate, and if you've been here before, I will tell you it sucks because you feel like you can't move, that your system cannot keep up, and it reduces your performance and potentially leads to like failure, like you just stop. Okay? So with that in mind, if we can increase the duration at which we can be at higher intensities for before this starts to actually happen, our performance as a byproduct is going to go up. Okay? But how do you actually build your VO2 max, right? Because it's actually not as linear as one would think. It's actually kind of hard to just train your VO2 max, if that makes any sense. But what most people will say, like if I was to ask you that question, most people's answer would be, I'm going to do more threshold work. I'm going to spend more time in heart rate zones 4 through 5. And that's not necessarily a bad answer, right? Like, yes, that is definitely a part of it. The duration of that time spent there, I will say, should be intentional based on your specific fitness level and the event that you are training for and what phase of the training block that you're in. And if you've never thought about it in that way, well, time to think about it in that way, right? And again, time to ask those questions if you don't actually know what you're doing. But if you really understand what's going on at the physiological level, then you probably wouldn't say, I'm going to spend more time in zones 4 and 5 as your first answer, okay? And again, I'm speaking to a very broad population. The elites are a little bit of a different category, okay? Because they have these systems in place. So the reason why their VO2 max, the elite level athletes, why their VO2 max is so stinking high is because they have gotten efficient in the zones that come before it. Now, how many of your brains just went like explosion? Like, what? The light bulb just went on. They have done so much easy effort volume that they've increased things like mitochondria density. They have more blood capillaries, which all means that they are able to effectively transport blood to the parts of their body that need it under duress. So, all that to say, what does that actually mean for you? Number one, stop making intensity the base of your training. Like, if it's more than 20% of your training right now, cut it out. 80% of it should be of that easier to moderate effort. 20% of it should be of that harder effort. Number two, more boring, longer zone 2 sessions. If you are newer to training hybrid or for training anything endurance-based, start around 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, I'd even say, right? Because for some of us, that could be really hard. And as you go, you're going to increase from that 45 minutes and get up to 90 minutes. You'll see some of the elite level athletes that are doing 2 hours of lower zone, like cycling rides, right? That's what you probably, if you watch YouTube, if you watch any of their documentaries, the things that they post, you're going to see that's what they're doing while they're talking to you, is they've been sitting on that bike for 90 minutes plus. Okay. The last thing is do intensity with intention and with appropriate rest periods. And I promise if you do that, your results are going to shoot through the roof. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you had just as much fun during that conversation as I had. I think I was popping out of my chair the entire time. But seriously, if you have questions on these things, please drop me a message. I would love to help you further understand some of this if it did not make sense. And again, all of you guys traveling out to Phoenix, I'm so excited to meet you guys if I haven't met you already. Good luck this weekend. And I will see you guys, I'm sure, for a race recap of what all happened and what went down next week on Becoming Your Strong. See you guys then.